Hey guys, another Wednesday, another amazing Survivor episode. I was living. I wouldn't say it was like my favorite, but there was a great message in it too. So it was just overall like another great episode. It was
good. I wouldn't say this is one of the great episodes this season. It was just a standard good one. Like I don't
know that do or die, or the do or die, right? That's what they called it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was suspenseful, and I was like, but I was looking at the clock, and I was like, they're giving enough time for there to be a vote. I think he's gonna get it. And then,
I know that's what I was thinking, but then it came back from commercial with like 6 minutes left, and I was like, maybe not. Maybe they're gonna trick us.
Like, I wasn't sure. I was like, there's enough time for a vote, but that also seems really quick, so maybe not. So then I was like, honestly, I don't know. So then when he got to stay, I was like I literally went, dang, just like the rest of them. But then I was like, but he just gonna get voted home. So he this, and then he just goes home. But then, spoiler, that's literally not what happened. So I was like,
well, because he's safe.
Oh yeah, I'm dumb.
Well,
that's
also
what I thought though. I was like, oh, he made it, but they're still gonna vote him out. But oh yeah, he gets safety. Okay, my bad. That's why Liana makes a lot more sense.
Yeah. Liana ended up going home this episode. But starting from the beginning.
Yep.
Do you want to start?
Yeah, the main target was very clearly Ricard. They were coming back from Shan's elimination, and
which was basically Ricard's move. So everyone, he was already the target last week, and now he just pulled this big move getting Shan out, and people are like, okay, we put you on hold, but now we really need to get you out.
And he's like, I gotta go. We'll see about that. And I was like, oh, okay. But I was also like freaking out a little bit internally for a minute. Like I was like, if he goes, I'm gonna be really mad. I was like, I don't think he's gonna go, but if he goes, I'm gonna be mad, because at this point, I either want him or Xander to win.
This is the thing.
And everything for me, like that went my freaking winner pick.
Xander seems to just not be in trouble at all these past like 4 or 5 episodes, when he is the only one left with the idol still.
But I mean, you got to give it to him.
I mean, good for him, because he's.
They're more worried about Erica, who hasn't really done anything except for this week. She was the swing vote, and she went in the direction I wanted her to go. So thank you, Erica, because I was about to be real mad at you.
I was a little concerned she was going to vote Liana, and not going to vote Liana to stay, and I was going to be really upset. But then I think she knows, like, the longer she keeps Ricard and Xander in the game, the longer she's going to stay. And she just has to hope that one of them takes her over the other.
Yeah, or
she can manage away.
Yeah, that maybe they get one more chance, like something happens down the road, but she needs them to get down the road.
I don't really know how the final works. Like, if it's like,
I don't know. I almost asked my dad, because he was here and he's an avid Survivor watcher. But the one thing I did say to him is that I did ask him, I was like, me and Scotty aren't really like looking at the rules per se, because we kind of want to like go off of like first time watching and not spoil it for ourselves, and just have more of like natural reactions to the things that happen. But like, I was like, I really had no idea that like these last couple people, like that they get to be like, they get voted off, but they don't leave. And, you know, my only thing to relate it to is I'm like, that's like Big Brother. So they're the jury. That's what my dad called them, the jury.
But it's also different in that they get to watch, like straight up watch the tribal councils every week.
That's true, and I was thinking that too, but then there is the aspect of Big Brother, as when the next person gets eliminated, they get to watch some of the stuff.
But it's not DRs. It's just competitions and like ceremonies. So like they'll catch like a little bit of drama, but it's like very heavily edited down.
But I don't think Survivor they don't get to watch. I mean, I don't think they're getting to watch.
They're watching the tribal councils.
Yeah, but they are like in that. So, I mean, it's similar though. And I was like, okay, so it's like, you know, the last, whatever, it's just very similar to Big Brother, like the last 6 or 9 people, right? This one's probably 6. Normally it's probably 9.
They're also dressed like normally. Like, I don't know where they're staying.
Yeah, like I was like, okay, Shan has makeup on. Like, I was like, oh, we're real life now. Like, we're just in seclusion somewhere, sequester, whatever they want to call it. They're probably at
yeah, and then they just boat over.
Yeah, probably where what's his name stays and the rest of the crew.
Jeff and the crew.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Really, it just goes into the twist of this episode, which is the do or die, where basically if you're the first one out of the immunity challenge, you have a choice at tribal council to choose your fate. If you choose wrong, you go home right away.
Excuse me, I just sneezed my life away. Okay.
If you choose safety, you're safe, and then a vote happens right after that, which is what ended up happening.
I was like, oh, that's so
crazy.
Like, that is very like, that's almost like a double elimination. It's like a different potential version of that.
Especially a competition like this where, okay, so to explain it, they start out with like trying to balance like a little like ball marble type thing.
I was like, I don't even know if I could do that at all.
I know, it's on like a little like beam. The beam starts out like very small when you're holding it together, so it's very easy, but then gradually you're adding more and more blocks to it, so it's harder and harder to keep balance.
Can you imagine though? Because like, okay, so everything so far lately has been all like very balance oriented, very like hold still, like focus.
I'm like, if you're dehydrated and malnourished, you're hella shaky.
You're shaky. I was literally thinking the same thing. Like, I was just like, that's so like
messed up.
They're cracking as hell. Like, can you imagine? Like, already that would be hard. Then
and your muscles are super weak. Like, you're probably dehydrated, just like beat from the sun.
It's too much. I was starting to think about it, and I was like, it's weird because they don't seem that intense, but like when you take into account everything, like that's some hard shit right there. Like, that is so easy to jack up. And so they were given the opportunity to play or not. If you didn't play, you can't win safety, but you can't be put into the do or die thing, because the first person to get eliminated goes to that. And it's like, that's frightening. So the only two people that didn't play, it was only two, right? Or was it three? Heather, Liana, and Erica? That's it. Everybody else.
No,
played.
Erica was in it. Yeah, because I think there's 8 people left, right?
Yeah.
So 2 people sat out. There were 6 people playing.
Yeah.
So
Xander, Ricard, Erica, Deshawn, they all played.
Yeah.
Then that makes 7.
I don't know.
I really felt the only people that I paid attention to is that Liana and Heather.
It's not really important. Just so Deshawn pretty much loses immediately, and it's
I feel like he was like, there went my I'm going home. Like, it's like the look on his face, he was just like defeated.
Yeah, especially like this is the second time where they really haven't had a vote go their way. They happened to just go with the Shan vote, but they wanted Ricard.
Yeah, that's true. They haven't, nothing is like Danny and Deshawn haven't had
since
it.
Like since Evie.
Mm-hmm.
So Deshawn's out first, and then it comes down once again to Ricard, Xander, but then Danny is actually, in it.
Well, Erica made it really far too, but then she was out.
Erica dropped right before the final 3.
And then they were holding on.
They were holding, I believe, like the middle block and then 2 extra blocks.
Yeah.
They were holding. So then I believe Ricard dropped and then Xander dropped right after. I think that was the order, right?
Hella quick.
Ricard dropped first.
I think it was Ricard first, but either way, it was like
immediately after. And then Danny
was
ended up taking the win, and Danny was like, okay.
Well, see, here's my thing is I was telling my dad, I was like, before the episode even started, I was like, I have this feeling that even though Danny was the one that sort of initiated the Ricard thing, that it's going to fall back onto Deshaun, because Deshaun just can't stop running his mouth. And they group them together because they are a pair in a way. But like anything bad that happens in the pair, I feel like they want to
get pinned on Deshaun.
Yeah.
Well, also just because
Danny is more of a mastermind, but Deshaun is more vocal.
Yeah. It's the same thing with Shan and Ricard. Shan is going to be more likely the one of the pair to take the fall than Ricard, because Ricard's more level-headed and like, I don't know. There's just like a way that he goes about the game that's very calm and like calculated.
So it's like everyone knows he's a threat, but it's very easy to put that on the back
off
if somebody is like yapping
in your
away.
face. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I feel like Deshaun's gonna go, but he's gonna go kind of because of what him and Danny were trying to do. That was like my initial thought before the episode even started. And then they started going at Danny a lot, and I was like, oh crap. Like I was like, it was before he got the immunity thing. I was like, oh my God. No, because he's like my other favorite. Mm-hmm. Like on the other side, like my other favorite. I
have a lot of favorites.
I've liked him from the beginning though. I've never not liked Danny, except for like I didn't really want him to go for Ricard, but whatever. I never didn't like him. Like Ricard, I love Ricard now. Did not like him at first. Xander was like, I was like, I don't know.
After the first or second episode, I liked Xander.
Yeah, Xander was over faster, but Ricard took a minute. But now I'm like, I want Ricard to win.
I initially liked Danny, Shan, Deshaun, Evie.
Yeah.
And then I think that was pretty much it.
The beginning. But yeah, so that made me nervous, but then, you know.
He pulls it out. Yeah.
And
then it becomes a conversation on, okay, well, now we know Deshaun is going to possibly go home. However, if he doesn't, who's the vote going to be? So it goes back to Ricard, or in this case, Liana, because
it's like what Ricard said. He was like, I have the bigger alliance. It should be, even if they want me, it shouldn't be me, but I don't trust Erica. Yeah.
And I think it was smart for Ricard to make the move of kind of forming an alliance in a way with Xander, Heather, and Erica. Mm-hmm. And I think Erica is smart enough to know if she got rid of Ricard now, she would be next. I don't even think Xander would go after. No. I don't think Xander would go after Ricard. I think it would be Erica.
No, it should be Xander, but they're more worried about Erica for whatever reason. But like Xander was 100% right when he said, if I get rid of Ricard now, like they are very even on their like
wins, and also just like likability. I mean, maybe not Xander with a few people, but the competition wins, overall just like strategy and moves. They're the only two people that have made like the biggest moves with and Xander.
Have the most stuff like over and over again. So it's like
they're constantly in the end with each other in the immunity challenges. Even if they're not winning, they're there. Deshaun as well. Deshaun is constantly in the end, but he just doesn't pull it out.
Fun. But yeah.
So that kind of happens.
There's a lot of talk, and I really wasn't sure what was gonna happen.
Yeah. We can just move to tribal council because there's a really big conversation about race, because obviously the previous castaways come in, and Deshaun kind of takes a moment to explain why he felt so conflicted last week
I think he felt like he needed to say that because Shan called him a snake, so it's also for his game, but also just like I didn't get a chance to say like my piece. Like you think it was just because we didn't get along, like at sometimes like it'd be easy to say that it was fine for me to vote you out, but that truly wasn't the case. And I feel like I need to like fix that narrative.
This is also an opportunity people in Big Brother don't get a chance to do. Like once you're out of the game, you have a goodbye message, and that's about it until the final. And
then it's like, it's until like the cameras kind of turn off that anyone really gets to talk to each other.
Yeah. So I think he took an opportunity also because of how big the conversation was about all four of them, like making it as far as they can. I think they wanted to mention, like, okay, I think they're subtly mentioning Big Brother in the cookout when they're saying, like,
I agree,
how the public's going to react to it. Like, we want to play our own game on top of balancing the fact that we're all Black Americans in this game. Like, I don't want to make it seem like I'm turning my back on Shan because I want to be able to play the game. Like, it was just a very difficult conversation.
And it was literally what like Bailey and Davon tried to explain on All Stars. And Liana, I'm gonna be honest, she is so well spoken, and I've never really noticed how well spoken she is because they don't give her a lot of time to talk like that. And the way that she covered everything that probably, I mean, obviously I can't say because I'm not a person of color, but what I felt like probably everything that she needed to get across and say and explain, she did so eloquently and just so like, if you listen to that and you don't get it, I don't think anyone can help you. Like it was just so well put and just touched all the bullet points. Like she didn't leave out anything where I was like, well, she should have also said, like, you know, that this happens. Like she covered it all and said it very well and in a way that was just like matter of fact with emotion, but not overpowered with emotion where you don't hear the message. Like I was very impressed with how she said that. Like I was like, it's like when you watch something and you're just like, it couldn't be more perfect if like someone tried. Like she did that, and it was a nice moment, and I think it was necessary. And in this day and like it needs to be said.
Yeah. Also, it's the amount of like pressure I've only obviously after the seasons, people of color or like people in the gay community talk about how stressful it is to
or like a minority
represent a group on TV where you know they're going to be like, oh, you're doing this wrong, like you're portraying this community like this, and it's like you can't win. And I feel like Xander made a good point of saying like, I don't represent anyone here. Like no one's like watching me and being like, oh, look at that, like someone like me. Like no one has to.
You've seen it a million times.
Whereas, you know, still like, okay, you could say reality TV recently has been getting better with it, but like
really recently, honestly. Truly.
And it's like, what is the harm in making something more diverse? It's literally like the least you can do. Like,
want to know why? Because who is the top of all these companies and corporations?
It's all white men.
Old white men.
Yeah.
That's the people that have the final say are people from a generation that doesn't probably, okay, allegedly, most likely, in my opinion, they're from a generation that doesn't want to understand. They are happy to be in the bubble that they are in. They are white. They are privileged to be white and not have to think about those things or care about those things or give a crap. And honestly, they're stuck in their ways. They're old. It works for them. Look at them. They're at the top. Why should they care? That's how they feel. That's how they act. And I think that's why it's not changing. And the thing that made it change is that if you want to hurt someone, you got to get them in their pocket where the money is. So when people started, social media is too booming now. And when people started putting their foot down and causing these advertisers to pull out or threaten to pull out where these old white men aren't going to make their money, then they said, fine, we have to do something. Like we are nowhere near where we need to be, but thank God we're somewhere. But that's fine.
It's like, it would be better if they were doing it out of the...
Unfortunately, those old white men have to die out and a new generation has to come in that is more conscious, because at this point it's like the saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And I'm not wishing death upon anyone by any means or anything like that. I'm just saying we're at a point where, you know, there's people that are up there like that are most likely, you know, they're pushing in their 80s and stuff. And like, there's going to be a new group that comes in and hopefully
pushes out some of the old harmful rhetoric and can bring some fresh ideas. Or just
it's tired and I am over it. Like my kids are little, and by the time they're my age, I hope we have become much, much farther.
Yeah. That's, you know, I highly encourage you to watch it if you haven't. They'll probably end up posting clips of it, but
yeah, it's good.
It was a very good moment. I think there's probably going to be people saying like, oh, yet another woke moment on Survivor. No, but why can't we just go back to being Survivor? And it's like Jeff said it, like, it's literally, the show is about a microcosm of our society as a whole, with these individuals playing the game. It's like, oh, it's just about people like on an island. It's like, okay, where do those people come from? What experiences do they have? Like, that's part of it. Like I don't know.
Trashy reality TV and whatever, that's fun and all, but like real conversations need to be had and can be had in those environments as well.
Yeah.
Get over it.
So then we move on from that, unfortunately, to, is Deshaun going to stay or does he go? And as we know, he ends up getting safety. But I do want to point out something. In this situation, I believe it's like, there's a name for it, and
he said it. Someone said it at Tribal. They said it's blah, blah, blah.
Or no, I'm thinking of the problem that he was proposed is there's 3 things. One of them is safety. You choose one. Jeff reveals one of the options he didn't pick, and then he gets an opportunity to switch.
Because it comes
I know personally from watching the probability of it, it's better for you to switch because the likelihood of you picking it right at first is 33%.
Yeah.
But when he reveals that one of them is wrong, you now have a 50-50 shot.
Yeah.
And you should switch. But he ended up being right.
I would have stuck with my gut too. My gut is usually really good, but I'm terrible at a gambling situation. So probably shouldn't stick with my gut, but I probably would have done what he did.
Yeah, I think most people would stick with what they chose, but I know the probability is higher if you do switch because of the whole like revealing one of your options.
Like, I understand, and I get it. That's a basic math. I can't understand that math, but I also
it's different than what you feel of like, no, I feel like this is the right decision.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter about the probability.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I chose this for a reason. Why am I going to switch?
It was the Flames. He has life in the game. And my dumb butt, I forgot that meant he was safe, because then I was like, oh, he's still going to get voted out. No, he can't.
Yeah. Then it kind of moves to Ricard or Liana being voted out. And when the votes come out, it was tied up until the last vote being Erica.
Yeah, she was the swing vote.
And then my TV buffered, and I didn't find out who got eliminated until I saw Liana get up and walk out. So I was like, oh, I guess we're just going to skip that part. Can we skip to the good part? That whole thing. Anyway, Liana got eliminated. Little sad, but also like, I'm not going to say like she was a bad player. I'm just going to say she was not one of the greatest.
Like, she wasn't my personal favorite in what was done so far.
Definitely an entertaining player, a very cool player to have on the show.
I like her,
but not necessarily one of the greatest strategy wise or competition wise.
I'm gonna be honest, it could, like, if Deshaun was an option, I probably would have rather him go. I want to see more women, and that's literally all it would be based on for me. Is that
there is a lot of women in the jury right now. I think it's all women.
No, Nasir.
And okay, but then I am a little disappointed in the fact that a majority of the jury right now is women, except for Nasir. However,
I'm not surprised.
I am. Okay, this is why I am rooting for Erica in a way, because it's like she's really the only girl left besides Heather now.
But it's like Heather isn't really doing anything.
So I'm like, it's either Erica or I have to go with Ricard or Xander.
Yeah.
And
I like Ricard and Xander a lot. I just feel like at this point they were very even. And then now Ricard has done a little bit more. So I'm pulling more to him. But we'll see. We have time. Who knows?
It's like if Ricard and Xander go, I'd rather Erica. I mean, I'd be okay with Erica or Danny winning at that point. But I mean, I like everyone. And even Heather. Heather has an opportunity if she ends up pulling out an immunity win and pulls some stuff. Highly unlikely, but like, well, you never know. Literally, like, Erica ended up winning immunity last week. And I did not think that that was going to be a thing. But
who knows? Who knows? It wasn't last week, week before.
Week before, right. So Liana's eliminated. We are now 2 weeks away from the final. That's December 15th.
It's on my dad's birthday. It's the day after my twins turn 2, which is then my dad's birthday, who turns 59, who loves Survivor. So that's a cool thing.
Also, real quick, just want to say, I appreciate that this is not 20 plus episodes. The challenge. Anyway, just had to get that out there.
It's so good. I would take 20 plus. So in whatever, you know the drill. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you next time.